Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard, and welcome to another weekly Watchlist video sponsored by MarketSmith. And overall, there weren't too many setups this week, which could provide an indication of the overall health of the market. But we'll go through my focus list for this week, the stocks that I'm kind of zeroing in on and kind of watching for setups quite closely. And we'll go through both their fundamentals and technicals in MarketSmith. So starting things off, let's talk about Coursera, a recent IPO, which had a strong move to end the week last week. And overall shows some promising sales growth here as well. Annual estimates are up, although it's not supposed to be profitable in 2021 or in 2022. Comms rating is only at 17, but you've already got 41 funds invested into the stock and one high quality fund in there as well. And as for the chart, let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's zoom back out one. I'm watching for a break through the 40 level as well as this high. And you could have entered on the 2-2 reversal this past week. But we'll see if this can kind of move up towards this area, form some consolidation, and then potentially break through this area to the upside. Ideally, I would like to see some consolidation here so you can manage risk and set your stop at these lows. So that is Coursera. Next up, we've got Crowdstrike, a previous 2020 winner. Very strong quarterly earnings reports here, plus 750% the past quarter. Estimates for 2023 are up and at 110%. That's quite strong. Overall comms rating is only a 78, but you've got a nice increase in fund ownership and one high quality fund in there as well. And as for the kind of entry setup, I'm looking for a push through the last weekly highs after this kind of short-term consolidation here and a retake of the 21 and 50 SMA, which could provide resistance. But if it can kind of push through those levels, that would be a very good sign, and then potentially form up some consolidation here under the 227 mark and break through that again. That could provide a good point to kind of add on to your position before the proper or standard breakout point through 251.28. And overall, the kind of base depth is kind of normal, 33%, but this is a stage 3 base. And if we go to a weekly, you can see it's gone quite a ways from the kind of standard primary base breakout here that had back in 2020. So it's kind of normal that it's had a kind of longer term basing period here. And so far it's finding support near the 40-week SMA. Moving on, let's talk about FNKO and go back to a daily. Overall strong moves up, but you do have some kind of erratic action here. So I want to see some tightening, maybe some inside days, and then a push up through these highs or these highs right here through 25. So overall, very strong earnings this past quarter, up 700%. Great estimates as well for 2021, 197%, with estimate revisions up as well. Comms rating is a 94. Not really an increase in fund ownership and no high quality funds, which is one drawback. But you have a very strong RS line and RS rating as well. Moving on, we've got GATO, which doesn't have any quarterly earnings, but has very strong estimates for 2022. Comms rating is only at 35, but you've got a subtle increase in funds the past 2 quarters and Fidelity Contra Fund with a position as well. And overall, last week, we did see some kind of downside reversal bars here on, I think that's Monday and Wednesday, but I'm looking for a push through 12.29 on volume and a stick here. And we'll see if this continues to provide support here, or actually resistance here at these highs, which is about 13.19. So I want to see it move through this on volume and stick as it tries to form out the kind of right side of this base cup shape here. Moving on, we've got MRVI, which is a little bit wide and loose here, but it is showing some RS recently, although the RS rating overall is only a 57. The RS line is increasing as of last week. Overall strong earnings this past quarter of plus 167%. Very strong estimates for 2021, up 238%. Estimate revisions are up as well. Comms rating is an 85. A nice increase in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in there as well. And ideally here, because it is a little bit short-term extended, I want to see it kind of pull back gently into the 21 EMA area here and then push through a consolidation pivot at this high, but you could also buy it at the standard buy point of 40.24. Moving on, we've got NVCR, and overall you can see nice growth in the past. If we go to a weekly in terms of earnings and sales, you do see a slowdown the most recent quarters, which is one negative. But going over to the daily, we had a strong gap up on trial news, and it has lost that low and that high volume close. So those are also negatives, but we'll see if it can kind of push through this downward trend line and challenge all-time highs. A nice increase in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in there as well. And next up, we've got Path. And overall, you can see nice earnings the past quarter. Earnings up 133%, sales up 81%. Nice estimates for 2023 as well. Overall comms rating is a 45, and this is a very recent IPO, so no fun information just yet. But we'll see if it can kind of break out through this high and challenge this kind of intermediate level above 75 as well. Moving on, we've got Roblox, and once again, decent consolidation last week. This is a pretty volatile stock, but it had a very strong bar after earnings here, and we'll see if it can kind of tighten up some more and form some entry setups here. And overall, very strong sales growth the past 4 quarters. Estimate revisions are up, although you can see it's actually supposed to be down in terms of earnings in 2022. Comms rating is only a 35. You've already got 118 funds invested into this stock and 1 high quality fund in there as well. So first step is maybe some inside days or some consolidation here, 2 to reversal, move through that, then a challenge of 75, and then this level, and then eventually the IPO base pivot at 79.1. Moving on, we've got Siii Sprott Inc. And overall, you can see very strong earnings, sales, and margins the past few quarters. Decent estimates for 2021 and 2022, but you can see estimate revisions are down for this year. Overall comms rating is at 97. Subtle increase in fund ownership and no high quality funds just yet. And overall, you can see that this is a stage 1B cup, and this is the standard pivot at 46.16. Nice strong upside reversal here off the 50 SMA area, and then some fall through to the upside on this Friday. Moving on, we've got SWAV, Shockwave Medical. You can see very strong sales growth the past 4 quarters. Not supposed to be profitable in 2021, but just supposed to be profitable in 2022, and estimate revisions are up. Comms rating is a 60. Nice increase in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in there as well. And as for the chart, you can see that it's pulled back to this standard pivot, and that's at 143.78. And we'll see if it can kind of break out through this inside day on Friday to the upside and challenge these all-time highs. I do like the reaction to earnings. Strong move up here with a decent close. And we'll see if it can kind of continue to the upside from this point. Moving on, we've got TBI, another earnings gap up here. A very strong report with an earnings surprise of 600%. Great estimates for the next 2 years as well. But you can see there's no increase in fund ownership. It's actually a decrease, and no high quality funds in there as well. So this really is a technical play at this point. But you can draw a declining trend line here, an inside day on Friday as well. So move through this high would be actionable as well, with a stop at these lows or potentially the 21 EMA. So that is TBI. And next up, we've got TPL. Overall, not really any earnings or sales growth to speak of. Annual estimates are decent, not great. And you've got a kind of subtle increase in fund ownership, but no high quality funds in here as well. Overall, looking at the chart, a strong move up here earlier in the year, and now a stage 2 base. It broke out, failed that breakout, pulled back to the 21 EMA, and it's back right below this pivot. So I'm watching that pivot level very closely at 1710.5, as well as Friday's high and Thursday's high. And lastly, we've got Zntl, and you can see no earnings, sales, or margins. This is a biotech, so there's some added risk here. But overall, going to the weekly, I like this shape, a longer term base and kind of a base on base pattern as well. A nice increase in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in there as well. And you can see this is a 4 weeks tight right near the top of this pivot. So overall, the pivot is at 61.29. So you want to see a push through that on volume, as well as this kind of intermediate level at this high. So overall, that is my plan and watch list for this upcoming trading week. My top 3 steps are SWAV as well as Roblox and FNKO, especially if these two have a few more days of sideways action before trying to move up on volume. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go and leave a like down below and subscribe if you are new. And let me know down below in the comments what are your top 3 setups for this upcoming trading week. Best of luck, and I'll see you guys in future videos.